Now, now the very first thing that you will need to do after you have downloaded all your programs, the first thing that you will need to get is a song. Like I'm not kidding. You absolutely need to absolutely have at least an audio track of your own, which you could basically like find one on YouTube, or you could basically just record your own using a music writing app like GarageBand on my iPad, for example. Like, I do have that for my iPad, but I used it before just to make a track, but I don't use it anymore, since I like to play customs that were owned by other bands that I like. So anyway, so just in case that if you do like want to basically make a song, but basically for yourself to turn into a custom song to play in Rock Band, then you can find that in the App Store, basically though. It's recommended to just do that on your cell phone or tablet, basically though. So then it will make it easier for you. And then once you have the track done, basically though, then you could just like save that completely though. And then once you have like figured out how to get it into the Photos app, basically, then you can just basically just transfer it like right over to the laptop, just from like using a USB plug with one end of the other plug being small enough to fit in your tablet or on your cell phone. Doesn't matter. Anyways, so in case that if you are wanting to like download a video and the song first, basically, then yeah, that's what I'll show in this tutorial. By the way, so basically the song basically that I am going to be using for this tutorial is going to be "Get Ready to Rock" by Freeze Pop, since this is basically a song that I've like heard of before from Guitar Hero 1, that like it was like the very first time I played the song. But here's the truth: I never played this song at all on Expert, like at all. I never played this song ever on Expert, just because it was just too hard on the Guitar Hero 1 engine. So, and I didn't even purchase the original Get Ready to Rock as well for like Rock Band 2 DLC. So, but I kind of decided that I'm not going to actually do that. So instead, I'll just play the Guitar Hero 1 version of the song on Rock Band as a custom. So then I'll be able to basically be able to have like more fun playing it. So basically, so yeah, I will basically show that. I'll basically like show that basically though once I have the chance. But anyway, for now, so what's recommended to just do first is in order to like download your custom song, in order to basically download audio or a video, it's recommended to always go to YouTube and like search up a video using the keyword. Like I typed in Rock Band Get Ready to Rock Freeze Pop full band, and I typed this in because I need to download a full band video that will basically do it. Now if you are making songs that has already existed basically in Rock Band, then the video that you might want to use is from this YouTuber called Spectral's Rock Hero, since he has uploaded a lot of videos on that channel that is basically showing a full band, showing like a lot of the other songs that are available, like this one, Freeze Pop Get Ready to Rock, Rock Band 2 DLC Expert Full Band. So you can basically see here in this video is that it's showing like all those notes, that it's showing like the fretboards that are playing in this video, and it has the proper vocals showing, even though it's kind of showing the beginning of the video, basically though. So you can see how the guitar is being played, basically though, in there as an example. So we will like so we're gonna download that one first before we download the audio. Now, if you're downloading a video, basically from Google Chrome or the Internet Explorer, the thing that you want to do is right-click it, and once this pops up, then you're going to go ahead and copy the link address, and then go ahead and put that into your YouTube downloader, which is like I said, this program that I would always recommend using. And then you can see here is once you put the link in, it will show the information about the video, and it, so that means if it's the same info that is in the video that you copied the link from, it should show up. It should show up on here, and it should be a way to download the video from YouTube. Now, in order to use videos in order to have videos play on Reaper, it's necessary that you need to like absolutely just click the arrow from there, and then make sure that you convert it to an AVI, so then it'll like run just fine on Reaper though. Because the last time that when I tried to drag an MP4 into Reaper before, it didn't work at all. Like for real though, it totally did not work a single time. So yeah, that's just the one thing I don't like about it. And I don't know why this program's lagging or just loading in. Okay, so this probably could maybe to take a few minutes. Okay, just hang off a minute. All right. So I reopened the free YouTube downloader since it was just lagging for no reason. So anyway, as I was basically saying, double click this. Hang on. All right, sorry about that. All right. So now you want to click this. Now you want to go to convert to AVI, and then you want to go ahead and just like choose the resolution of like where you want to download the video. So the thing is, don't download AVI files with at a really high resolution or at like 720p with 60 FPS frames, which is 60 frames per second. So it would mean it would go smooth. Like it's not recommended to do that because I did encounter that if you download if you download a video basically in 60 FPS basically and then as an AVI, and then if you try to like throw that into Reaper, and then when you play the video basically inside of that program, it'll just lag the playback. Like for sure though, like it's just not gonna like run properly if you just decide to just like download it as FPS, 60 FPS I meant to say. So just in case that if 726 FPS is really the only option, then the recommended quality to download it in is 480p, since that one does not have 60 FPS at all. So, but since this one doesn't, I'm gonna download it as 720p as AVI. So now you can basically see it now says convert to AVI HD 720p. So just click that button once it's set, and now you can see here is that it's now downloading the program. Well, in progress though. There's going to be a bar, and then there's going to be an icon that will be showing you how the download is going to be doing. See like the download is going. It's going through. It will just usually take a minute to like download basically though, but yeah, it should be fine. Now that we're downloading the video file, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and download is basically going to be a what is it? It is basically going to be the Guitar Hero version of Get Ready to Rock. Hang on. Okay, all right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this full band text, and then now that I changed up the keyword, if it would not just open that up at least. Yeah, I don't know why my Google Chrome is just always doing that every time, but if you're using your own, it shouldn't really do the same thing. Don't worry about it. And I think I'm gonna like go ahead and like download this as well. So just like I did before, copy link address, go into this YouTube downloader again, and you can basically see is that this, so you can see here this pop-up, it says compatible URL detected. Click here to select quality and download. So same thing as before. Now you can basically see here, when it's, see if you see 60 FPS on the download, do not click that because it will let lag, because it will glitch the playback, and it will like make it like run like slow. It will make it run slow and laggy and glitchy, and you don't want that. So instead, download it as 360p that has no FPS in there. So then it'll run better. Alright, and now the last thing I'm going to do is now download the audio track for this. So Forest Blood Blaster, this guy here basically also has the bonus songs that are also like, that has the same volume as Skylab's Guitar Hero 1 covers and Guitar Hero 2 Skylab's videos of the Guitar Hero 1 covers, Guitar Hero 2 covers, and then the other covers of songs that you could just download. Just so then you don't have to really like use the original audio to do it. I'm going to copy the link this time, but this time as an audio file. So instead of clicking this, you just want to click download MP3, and then there. That's how you just download the audio from YouTube. Then you can basically see is that when you see a check mark on these two, that means completed. It's done downloading. Alright, so this one's now done as well. Then you can see there are two buttons that says, let me do this. So you can basically see is that there are two buttons right here that are my video files and my audio files. So it's recommended to just like click like either one completely out. Make sure that you go into both of those folders first, and then like drag them right into the ROP Band 2 converting folder that you're going to use. And then your audio files, click that, and you should see that the audio that you downloaded should be also appear. It's basically up to you if you want to like put it in the Rock Band audio project tracks, or just put it in your ROP Band 2 converting. But if you're looking for a recommended way to put it in, it's recommended to just put it in your ROP Band audio project tracks, so then you'll know where it is. But anyway, just for my sake, I'm just gonna put it in the ROP Band 2 converting folder, so then I'll like know which one I'm using. Now it's really up to you if you want to like rename the files or not. Like you can just either change up the file names, or you can just leave them as they are. So which I'll do that off screen. So hang on a minute. All right, so. Excuse me. So anyways, after like I finished like renaming those files, all I just did was I just removed the symbols and removed the spaces of those file names, and I just basically I just renamed them as just file names, basically those. So then it'll make it look like it's a proper file name though. But like I said, it's up to you if you want to rename them or not. Alright, so then after you have finished downloading those files, and after you optionally rename them if you want to, you do not need the free YouTube downloader that much anymore, so you can go and close that. So basically just ignore that. You don't really need a license to really download YouTube videos. But if you wanted to just download in like other qualities or resolution, then yeah, you might want to get it. But as for downloading other videos just for making ROP Band customs, you don't need it. Okay, and then now the next thing that you want to do, let me close that for a minute. Now the next thing you want to do is open up REAPER, and the next thing that you're going to want to do is to like open up your ROP Band Network template first. So before we get to that, so this is what the official ROP Band Network, no, why did I say that? This is what the official REAPER program looks like. So you can basically see here, you got your measure numbers, which is basically recommended for a beat. You got some like other buttons right here, basically that you can access, and there's even some playback buttons that you can use, like the play button, the stop button, the pause button, and you could see like, so you could basically keep track of like right here to what measure you're at, and then where, and then like what time you are into the song or the video probably, and you'll see the action sorry, right on there, and then you can basically see is that you can see your selection, like I'll show you what that does. So you use your cursor so you basically use your mouse cursor or touchpad cursor to drag this playback cursor anywhere, basically. And you can basically see here on the bottom left, like make sure to look at that for a second while I'm moving this. So you can see what I'm doing here is when I'm moving this thing, even when like dragging it, basically though, it's basically moving, like it's changing the timing to where I'm placing the cursor at. And then there are some other there's some shortcut keys that you may need to know, basically though, which I'll show you right now. So in case that if you're wondering where the action list is, you go to actions and then click show action list, and it should show you like the shortcut keys to the actions in Reaper. So for the main, so basically for the main editor, there's also like one thing that there's also like some stuff that you will also need to set up in Reaper, and it is basically this. So first up is basically an important one. It is a custom action that I've made in Reaper, which is called set tempo by bar. And so the thing is, this is not a default action, by the way, if you're wondering. So to set the tempo by bar, hang on, let me move this really quick so you can see it. So to set the tempo by bar, basically though, in order to make that action, so the first thing that you will need to do is click add, or actually no, that's not right. If you don't have that action, just click new, and you can basically see here is that this is basically where you can create your custom action. See, so you can see here when you scroll down or up, basically though, you can see that there's many options of like actions in Reaper that you can choose from. So make sure to basically like read most of it, of like what other custom creators experts or custom creator experts are basically telling you to use. So set tempo by bar is basically an easy one to make. So I'll go to edit and then show you which one you need. So these are the 5 actions that you will absolutely need in order to make your customs. You will need your time selection, set endpoint, move edit cursor back 1 beat, no seek, move edit cursor to start of current measure, no seek. That's basically the that's what that whole action name says. Time selection, select start point, and then the last one, create measure from time selection, detect tempo. So I'll go over tempo in a bit. So once you basically have those 5 actions in there, the next thing you're going to want to do is to give that created action a name. The one I recommend putting in is set tempo by bar. That's the most recommended one to put in. And then once you hit OK, and it'll put it right in. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is when you click this, you can basically see is that when you click the different actions, basically it'll show whether if there is no key shortcut set to that. So the thing is, it's really up to you to figure out on like which type of key that you want to use to basically like set the tempo by bar. So basically the most recommended key basically to set it to, according to all custom creators experts, is they say set the shortcut key to the Q key, the letter Q key. So basically though. So I'll basically put a picture of the Q key on the screen, so then you'll know like which one it is to set to, so you can like click it. So then you can press it so you can set the tempo by bar from the cursor. So I'll show you. I'll basically show you what that does in a minute. So basically, just for the main editor, basically, it's mostly recommended to just always just have. There's also like the different sections that you could choose from, basically, but we're just gonna focus on the main keys for now. So now in case that if you can't find the action that you need to set up, then that's basically fine. You can just type in the keyword of the action of what is it, of that action, basically. So like say if you need to like set a different action to save, basically, then it's recommended to just like set it to like, then you could basically just, then it's basically up to you if you want to change the shortcut key if you want. I have mine set to A because I feel like hitting Control S all the time, like in other programs, would just take extra time, even for Reaper. So that's why I set it to A, so that it'll make it faster. Okay, so my mom texted me, so give me a minute. Okay, sorry about that. My mom actually texted me, basically, but I just had to basically tell her that I'm just gonna have to like talk later because I'm in the middle of recording right now. So anyway, as I was basically saying, hang on, let me actually like make sure this is in focus more. Okay, there we go. All right. So like I said, it's really up to you to like which shortcut key you want to set the save project to. I just have mine set to A, so then it'll make things easier and will save more time on saving the project over and over again. Since Reaper is kind of a laggy program to use, but if you want to make customs, it's really recommended to use, according to everybody that has made customs before in their life. And then in the MIDI editor, actually, I'll basically show you any of the other filters that there are. So basically, there's play from start a project, which I'm not gonna like do, which I'm not gonna like show off. So because the main one you want to focus on just for now is basically just the playback keys that you may need to know. So you can see here, play pause is the space bar. So basically, like, I'll show you that really quick. When you click the space bar, it'll start playing, and when you click space again, it stops. So yeah. So basically, when you when you press the space bar completely on your keyboard, it'll basically like play the project, and then if you press space again while it's playing, it'll stop. It'll like pause it. All right, and then for the MIDI editor, it's really absolutely like recommended to just have like some sections, like some things like set up. Also it's also recommended to always have the play pause action to the space bar be set by default though. So just leave it as it is, because you're not going to need it. All right, and then basically now for the rest of the stuff that you might need to know for the MIDI editor, there are like different types of like key animations that you might know, that you might see basically that's set to default. But the one thing that you're gonna want to like notice really quick is, but there are a couple of them that you will need to notice. So when you're working on the vocals track, and if you type in any lyrics, which I'll show later, and when you have vocal notes charted basically though into a custom song, it's then you would need a faster way to align the lyrics to the notes without having to set them automatically, right? So the way to do that is by going to this key basically right here, and then set it to your own shortcut key if you want. But the most recommended one that will save you much time is to hit the enter key. So yeah, so I have mine set to the enter key just to save some time. And there's also a shortcut to import the lyrics from a file. Okay, sorry about the brightness. There was some like spits on the screen that on the iPad I had to dry off. So now I know that there's also an action which is basically importing like lyrics. Yeah, right here. This is the one you would notice. This is the one some people would notice. Import lyrics for selected notes from file. So you can basically use that just in case if you don't want to put in the lyrics yet completely though, or like if you just want to focus on the vocal notes first when you're working on the part vocals track, which I'll show later, or you can basically just try to like go for like if you want to put down the vocal tracks first, and if you just want, and then after you put the vocal notes, if you want to like save the second step to be putting the lyrics in, then you could basically just hit the shortcut key for that basically though. Like I'll show you how to set a shortcut key for this, for an action by the way. So click on that action to select it, and then click add, and then select a. So you can either type the key, or you can just move the controller, or you can just press the key to do it, or you can just use a special key to do it. So I'll have mine set to actually let's not do that. Let's say we want to do tab, for example. Let's try to set that. Okay, so that's not the one I want. Okay, so do that. Type key or move controller, tab. I guess I'll just type it in then. Okay, maybe not. Okay, well, all right. Well, anyways, I did Shift T basically. So that's basically how you could set an action now. So in case if that's the one you don't want, you can delete it, and then you could just set it to a different one. So let's try W maybe. Well, okay, so if W is so it looks like W is already like set to a different action though. So we can't use that completely though. So basically just keep looking around on different keys, see which one works. If none of them works, then yeah, you can just basically figure out like which one you want. I guess for now we'll just do like we'll do Shift A then for now. So yeah, so you can basically just click a letter key, or at least a different type of key on the keyboard, or you can basically just do a combination of a shortcut key you can use, which is Shift A. So like if you hold Shift and then press A, it'll like do that action for sure though. And now, all right, and now for the other ones you might need to know. So the shortcut keys I would recommend for moving the notes when you're actually working on the MIDI editor, it is basically the down arrow key to move the notes down one semitone, ignoring scale and key, which will mean it'll go down one row of a named MIDI row. Like let's say if it's like a red note, and then if you want, let's say there's like a red note on guitar, for example, and if you want to like move that down to green basically though, then you could just select that note, and then just hit the down key on your keyboard to move it down to the green row, which will turn that red note into green notes. Which I will show MIDI editing in a second. Well, I meant to say in a few minutes though. And then So basically, and then move notes left 1 grid unit, which is selecting the note and then moving them to the left. For the right, same thing, but the opposite direction. Select the note and then press the right key to move it to the right. Oh yeah, and for the left, and then moving it to the left, just you can select the note and just hit the left arrow key to move it to the left. And then up is move notes up 1 semitone, ignoring scaling key, which is hitting the up arrow key to move up 1 row, like moving the green note up to a red note. And there are like some of them that are set by default, basically though, which is basically like split notes, which is S. I'll show that in a minute. Oh, well, actually, I'll show that right now. Split. I spelled it wrong. Okay. So you can basically see here is split notes. It is S, and then to join notes. I messed it up again. Join notes is J, the J key, and then, well, the letter J key actually, and then the letter S key is to split the notes. Oh, sorry, my bad. Split the notes with the letter S key. So if you have followed all those actions, and then once you have all of those set up, basically, then you are good to go to finally start making customs of your own on Reaper. Now before I start showing you this first, keep in mind is that I am going to be using this REAPER network template that I've like made for myself, which is the one that has a space, basically though. I mean it's like a modified version basically of the template that I use, but you're not. But there is a chance that you're not gonna always have that straight off the bat. So instead, if you have the C3 RB3 template, basically, then that's the most recommended one to use. I'll show you that right now. So what you want to basically do, ignore that. That's what it looks like, by the way. But I'll show more of it in a minute. So what you want to do is, let me hide that then just for a minute. So once you're in a position like this, you want to go to File, click Project Template. Now, why don't you go to Project Templates, and then you want to go ahead and just click this template, basically that says C3 Custom RB3 Template, and it is basically like the most recommended template to always use when you're making REAPER customs. So then you don't have to like swap like many steps around when you're using the REAPER network template to make customs. So like I said, for this tutorial, I am going to be using the REAPER network template, but for yourselves, I would always recommend using this REAPER 3 template from the C3 website that you've downloaded. So once you have like at least the custom tools installed, it should come with it. So once you have basically clicked it, it'll say the following effects were in the project file and are not available. Reaper will keep their configurations, but things may not sound as desired. So that's basically like fine though. Just hit OK and it'll just load up the project anyway. Now, you can basically see here. This is basically what the REAPER network, actually not REAPER network. This is what the C3 RB3 template looks like. You got your song audio, you got your count in, you got your part drums track, your bass, your guitar, your vocals, and then you have your other instruments as well that you can use. But these are for making Rock Band 3 customs, basically though. And then there's also like these three, which are like the most important ones to use as well though for Rock Band 2 customs. It is the events track, the venue track, and the beat track, which I'll basically show you those in the REAPER network template, since I always like I've always used that template like multiple times, like for sure. So it means if you're getting confused from like when I'm using the REAPER network template though, it should just almost be the same thing, basically just for the for this REAPER 3 template. So So remember, always use this template when you're making customs the easy way. Okay, so you can basically see this is what a count-in basically looks like. It is like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the song starts at measure 3. So yeah, the thing is that so I'm going to be using this Rock Band Network template for this. Now this is basically my own version, basically though, which I recently have made myself, basically though. But like I said, basically a lot of these tracks basically though are just usually have the same rows as like as the Rock Band Network template, except the Rock Band this Rock Band Network template basically has the same rows that you can just use in the MIDI editor on the C3 template. So I'll show you this really quick. So when you open up a MIDI editor, this is what a MIDI editor looks like. So basically, so what you have basically for drums is you got your drum fills, which is basically like, which the drum fills are basically recommended for overdrive, which I'll show you later once we get to the drums. The overdrive, which is basically the overdrive, which is a row for overdrive phrases to score overdrive energy on drums. The solo marker is for is something you can use for drum solos, and then here's your main focus, the notes. So you can basically see here is, in order to place down a note, you basically just click on a line that you do it from, and then you put a note basically like right in there. And they do come in like different rows of colors as well, like these basically, for example, expert kick, expert red, expert yellow, expert blue, expert green. Even though that these are kind of in the wrong order basically though, but I'm basically okay with like the drums just being like that though. And so in case that if you do make a mistake basically though, that you pretty much like that doesn't make sense to you, or if you want to like undo something, just go to edit and you can just always undo or redo anything that you mess up. So my undo key, so the undo key like on any other program is Control-Z, so click that to undo it that many times. So you can basically see is that the expert notes for drums is basically considered to be like the real notes that are in the song, basically that matches. The hard notes are basically kind of like expert, where it kind of like expert, but except it has a few gaps just to make gaps with no notes just to make it easier. And then you got your medium note rows, and then your easy note rows. And you can see like way at the bottom is your drum animations, which I'll basically show you in a way later part. So, and then you can basically see here is when you like click this and just move this up, you should basically be able to see the different type of drum mixes that there are basically. Now there's one thing basically really quick that you really may need to do, like completely though. If you're working on the drum track, and if you see like the mixed the drum mix text events, try to set the number on every single one of these text events of the drum mix text events to be on 0, on like drums 0. Like have mix 0 be drum 0, mix 1 drum 0, mix 2 drum 0, mix 3 drum 0. For sure though. So the thing is, if you see that like that, like if it's a different number on here, change them all to a 0 for sure. Because if it's on any other number, it will not work. Trust me. So make sure that you set those up, and then make sure that the number at the end of the drum mix text event inside of those brackets, like these numbers right here next to, that is on the right of the word drums in those text events, and make sure you set them to 0, so then it'll work. And you can basically see here the play to the text event is basically where your drummer or any other like musicians basically start to play the notes that are in the animations, though, which I'll basically which I will show off later. So that's the MIDI editor for drums, and then the MIDI editor for guitar is basically the big rock ending. It is, well, actually, I'll go over each one individually. So you can basically see here is that there are different like note rows as well for the hang on, give me a minute, let me just fix this up really quick. Okay, so you can basically see here is that there are different note rows that you can also use for guitar as well, though. Sorry if I bumped the camera. Anyways, so the note rows that are in guitar are the big rock ending lanes, which those are basically the rows where you could basically place big rock ending lanes, basically, though, which is basically like the big rock ending bonus that you basically get in like in Rock Band when you basically reach the end of a song, and then whenever you basically whenever you like strum crazy on those lanes, you'll get a score. You'll get the big rock ending score bonus, basically, though, added right to your score once you have like strummed through those lanes. And sometimes you can also do a big rock ending as well on drums, basically, as well. But in order to do that basically, it's gonna like basically require you to like basically have it's gonna require you to have the drum fill lanes basically be the same length as the big rock ending lanes on guitar and bass. So then it'll make it just that similar. And then once you have basically done that basically, though, then it should just like at least show up in the game when you're using the Rock Band Network when you're basically using the Rock Band 3 template completely, though. Anyways, so what I'm going to be doing basically for this tutorial is, like I said, I am going to be using the Rock Band Network template, but for your own learning, I would always recommend you using the Rock Band 3 template from the C3 website, the C3 RB3 template for you to use, and for you to use in this tutorial. Follow like every step that I teach you how to do on that C3 RB3 template while I'm doing this on the Rock Band Network template. Because like I said, this is really the template that I always use when I'm making customs like that, and I do believe everyone else really should just be using the C3 RB3 template, so then it'll make things easier. Anyway, now let's basically get to the other note rows. Now you can basically see here is that this is basically your overdrive phrase, which is basically like, it's like the overdrive phrase on drums. There's also like one extra mechanic basically for the overdrive phrases on guitar and bass. If there are long notes, basically, though, and then when you have an overdrive drive, and if there's an overdrive phrase that is over those notes, when there is a long note, you can just whammy that long note that is affected by overdrive, and you can just extract more overdrive energy just from like whammying that long note. Only if it's affected by overdrive. And then here are your main focus of authoring notes: your solo marker, your the solo markers, which is kind of, it's basically this, it's really the same thing basically as the drum solos. It is basically just showing what is it? It is like basically just showing the like what was I saying? It is basically like showing the like the solo marker in Rock Band. It'll basically be in a dark blue. The solo will basically be in a dark blue background when you enter the solo whatsoever. So you can basically see here it's dark blue, so it means you can see that it's basically like a measure long. So it means it will turn dark blue once you are in that solo, and then when the solo ends, it'll basically just end the dark blue background, and then it'll go back to black again. And then so that means, of course, when you finish the solo, basically though, in a custom song, you will get an extra score bonus, and it's always affected to how many notes there are in the solo, which I'll basically explain more about that once we get to guitar. And then your main mechanics for hard or expert guitar or bass is your force HOPO off markers. And so basically it's basically like the force HOPO notes that you can basically just put in, which means if you do like if you put an off note over a note that'll affect it, it'll basically turn it'll basically turn a note that is like that is any different fret that is not similar to any of the other notes, to turn into a normal note that you can just strum through. And then for a force HOPO note, basically though, that basically just turns any normal strumming note into HOPO notes, which is basically something, which are notes you can just tap on, and you can basically just use, and it's mostly recommended to just use for to either make things easier for making Rock Band customs, or you can basically use that to make slide notes if you want. Like if you want to make a slide that's going to like a green note to an orange note, then let's say you put a green note here, and then if you put an orange note here, and then if you put a an HOPO on note basically over the orange basically though, or on blue, yellow, red, then yeah, it'll basically just turn that into a slide note or a tap note that you can just use basically though. Like but unlike any of the tapping notes from Clone Hero, like the kind of tapping I meant for Rock Band is the one like strum the first note first and then fret the rest. And then if you miss a note basically on the HOPO note, you would basically like have to strum the one of those notes again just to make sure it hits. So you can basically see here green, red, yellow, blue, orange for the note rows. So you can basically see here the expert notes are always for like real guitar notes to match in the song. And hard, well, the hard difficulty for guitar, it's really, like I said, kind of like expert, but it has like smaller gaps, and it has like a few, and it does have a few lower notes from orange basically just to make things slightly easier for advanced rock band players or guitar players to play on. And then medium is basically, showing small notes or basically just small chords that you could play though. So you can see this is basically so to make a chord basically for Rock Band, you basically just put two notes at the same time. So you can basically turn it into a small chord, a medium. You could turn it into a normal chord. You can turn it into a wide chord, or you can make the widest chord ever that you can ever get on guitar. Same thing for bass as well. And if you're also working on keys, it's basically the same thing, basically. But like I said, but I'm not gonna be going over the keys in this tutorial, since that since this main focus is just making customs just for Lego Rock Band or for Rock Band 2. But if you want to make Rock Band 3 customs that has keys basically in it though, check out like PK Sage's live stream tutorial. It's basically uploaded to YouTube in order to really like basically in order for you to like get the basics down on like how it can be followed using the Rock Band 3 template and how to author on there. And then so Mia basically has only green, red, yellow, or blue notes, and there's no orange notes at all on Mia. But the truth is, if you're making a Lego Rock Band or Rock Band 2 custom, you really might need to actually have at least one red note, one orange note on Mia, just because for some reason it does not really allow any like what is it? It's because for some reason though it doesn't really even allow like actually I keep forgetting what I was trying to say. So basically just because for some reason though, like the Rock Band, just because for some reason though, Lego Rock Band and Rock Band 2 are sometimes always demanding you to just have the Rock Band 2 minis just have at least one orange note in order for it, so then the last note in the song does not turn into an orange note whatsoever. And I don't get it, man. I really like don't get it on like why it does that for some reason. And so alright, so anyways, that's medium for you. And then easy difficulty is basically like green, red, and yellow notes the most. And there are barely any power chords at all in the song. If you're working on an easier if you're playing an easy song on easy difficulty, it will have no chords whatsoever. But if you're playing like a really hard song on easy, it'll sometimes have like small chords that you may have to hit basically though. Like I said, small chords will like, it's only recommended to be shown up on a harder tier of a song if you're playing on easy, like Master of Puppets, for example. Like I have absolutely found that there are like 3 chords, I think, on like the easy chart of the Master of Puppets by Metallica on like Guitar Hero Metallica. So yeah, so basically having at least like small chords like that is basically like recommended to do if you're working on a harder song. Like I said, Master of Puppets basically does have that, and I do really believe that other like harder songs on easy, basically on the impossible tier, basically will also have easy. We'll also have chords as well that are short as well. And then what you see down here, I'm trying to click it. Sorry about that. All right, and then down here are your animations for the left hand, basically for guitar. And what the left hand animations basically do is it's basically affected to like what type of pitch the notes are. Like let's say that if you're playing an orange note that is a low pitch, then you probably might want to like just in case that if there's like an orange note that is basically like right in the middle basically, and that there is an orange note that is like a lower pitch basically, then you might want to like move that down to like right here, so then it'll make more sense. Or if there's high pitched notes on solos, then you could just drag it up to be like that as well. Like for the orange note, you will have to just like move it up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in order to like move the really high pitched orange note to be put up to the top. And if you want to make the highest pitch of an orange note you want, then just move it up to the like to the highest one that there is available. whether if it's for guitar or for bass, then yeah, it's mostly recommended to always do it, in case that if you need to like do it. And like I said, for the play text events, it's basically it's really just like the play to text event from the drums track, and it is so the play to text event on guitar or bass is it's gonna basically show your guitars or bassist fretting the notes and then strumming the notes. That's basically what the play text event is gonna do. It's gonna like make them play it, and then when you have an idle to real time text event or just an idle text event, it'll basically like stop them from like it'll stop them from playing the notes. You can see here this is an example of that. Idle real time basically will just basically like get your musicians to basically just stand, basically just not playing the notes but not like jamming along to the beat. So it's recommended to just always have that basically at the end of the song, basically, so just in case. So then it means by the time when they hit the last note in the song, basically, you would want that text event to be like right after the last note. Like, let's say there's like a note right here, and let's say this is the last note, and then you want to, and then boom, and then when it reaches the idle real time text event, they will go into a state where they're gonna like stop playing the notes at all. For bass, same thing. It's the same thing. Same thing as the guitar, except that it doesn't have any like really hard chords at all. That like the highest amount of notes that you can put into a chord is 2. Like this is basically like the highest amount of like notes that you could basically like combine to make into a chord for a bass. So basically for a chord, basically though, like, so yeah, a bass. So this is basically like the biggest like bass chord that you could ever get. That's always recommended to have. Now, if you look at if you're actually using the C3 RB3 template, and if you are basically just using the same, and if you really are like basically just using the bass track as well on that template, it'll also show the solo marker as well. But if you decide to just make it basically as a Rock Band 2 custom or Lego Rock Band custom, though, it will like never allow like solo markers on there ever, just because well, for some reason Lego Rock Band and Rock Band 2 does not support solo markers on bass. Same thing for like Rock Band 1, if they're able to put customs in the game, which I don't really recommend putting in there at all, because Rock Band 1's features kind of suck, and it's not really the best Rock Band game ever. So I would mostly say, to get you started on making Rock Band customs, you will need to try them out on Lego Rock Band or Rock Band 2, since those are basically like better ones to test them on. Well, whenever you're basically like still getting used to the game, basically though. And I would not really try to at least recommend going into Rock Band 3 quite yet. Just for 4 until you can basically just really like get the hang of doing hard a lot better on guitar or bass, and then make sure that you at least experience medium a little more, and then make sure you experience vocals at least on any difficulty. It doesn't matter. So like I said, part bass is basically the same thing, but this time, but if you're doing this for Rock Band 2, there's no solo marker for you to put in. So yeah. Now for vocals. Now the vocals track is really kind of a pain in the ass to just work on. Completely though, according to some other people. I mean like some people would basically say I would say oh, I would probably do custom songs, but vocals are just a pain in the ass to work on though. Well, don't you really worry though. I will just show you the basics of vocals, and I'll basically show you how to absolutely like how to chart a vocal overdrive phrase basically though. So now that I have like experienced it and figured out how to use a chromatic tuner basically though, now I will like be able to like show you how to chart vocals at least. So like I said, charting vocals can be pretty difficult, and it is pretty boring to work on too, because then if there's like a lot of measures on a song, and if you like need to really like work on like vocals at least though, then you probably like then it may take you longer to work on basically. But if you want to release the song, the custom song that you've made into Rock Band though, and if you want to have it be made into a proper song to be played in Rock Band, I hate to tell you, but you're gonna have to do it. It's really the only way to go. But anyway, I'll show you the note rows really quick for vocals. So you can see here there is your overdrive row, which is basically turning any vocal phrase that there is available into to make them glow gold as an overdrive phrase. So you might not really be able to see that much, but if you have seen it before in the Rock Band game completely, then you might not know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know what it looks like though, then I'll basically like put a clip basically in there later on once I go over the vocals. And then your phrase markers are basically like the ones that you need to absolutely put in there in order to score points on vocals though. Like some measures basically like this, like so basically, so yeah, so this is where your phrase markers go, because you will need to have them in there to score points on vocals. And then non-display percussion. And display percussion is basically like they're basically just percussion notes in a percussion solo that you actually do for when you're basically like when you're doing a song but basically that is basically it's basically just percussion notes that you could just whack your hand on right on the microphone to hit those notes. And like I said, putting the percussion notes in there is optional. Like it's only there to score points. Like if you're trying to get a 100% full combo on the song on vocals on expert though, then you really don't. Or if you just want to play on vocals and play an instrument at the same time, like if you want to play like guitar and vocals at the same time, just like James Hetfield does for Metallica, mostly. Then you can then that's basically fine. I mean, you can always just skip those sections whenever you're doing that. So the thing is that if you don't also in the end, if you also like don't want to like really whack your hand like on the microphone all day basically though, just to hit those notes, like if you think it's gonna like hurt your hand basically like that much doing it, then like I say, you don't absolutely have to hit them. Hit them though. They're only optional to score points. And it's also optional as well in order to get a score bonus from getting a good enough percentage on the vocal percussion solo. But it's recommended to only have them in there just so that when other vocalists play the song, they do not like absolutely like get bored of like the music playing when they're on vocals though. So basically, I believe non-display percussion is basically just the animation percussion markers that you could put in basically though. Although I'm always just having trouble figuring that out for some reason though. But if you want to just basically just figure that out at least just for yourself basically though, then maybe you probably might want to like try to play around for a bit and try to see what works. And like I said, display percussion will absolutely just show the notes that is basically that will show up in the game. And then vocals, the vocal notes are basically just in different note rows. B5 is the highest pitch that I've set it to, and then C2 is basically the lowest, basically though. So the thing is, you just have to like make sure that you like match the same like vocal notes when you're basically charting these. Let me turn this up a bit so you can hear this. Go up a bit. So you heard all those note rows? That is absolutely what all of those vocal phrases are for, basically though. So let's say you want to do like phrases like this, for example, that have like different pitch notes, for example. You could do this. So yeah, that's basically an example of like what you can do, basically though, when you're basically working on vocals. That's basically an example of how those note rows work. Now remember, there are the different pitch numbers that have different octaves, that have like different like pitch names that you need to try. So like 5 is the highest pitch, 4 is no, what am I saying? Like 5 is like really high, 4 is like somewhat, is like 4 is basically either a little high or just normal, and then 3 is basically little low, and then 2 is like the lowest pitch you can get. So like I said, C2 is the lowest, C3 is like the middle low, completely low, C4 is basically like, C4 is basically like the middle note. And the way that I have like renamed basically all these rows is that you can basically see that the note names basically right on the top here. This is basically where they're shown. So 3, C4 is the middle note, C5 is the middle high note, and then B5 is basically the highest note, in my opinion, basically though. And then I'll show you the events track really quick. So the events track is basically like what is it? It is basically the track that basically like lets you put put in music start text events, in the way that the crowd claps basically or anything. Well, the way you set the crowd to clap to the beat, and this is in the events track is mostly mainly for putting practice sections in, and it's recommended to have practice sections in a custom song to make the laying autogen to work properly. And then at the end of the events track, you need to have the music and text event and the end text event. It's recommended that it's required that you need to have those in there, or there will be like no way that your song will ever end to the crowd cheering once you finish the song. The venue track is basically where you set up the camera angles, the camera scenes, and then you could basically like focus on like different camera angles that would focus on different musicians, basically though. Like you can focus on vocalists, focus on guitarists, drummer, bassist, and you gotta make sure those are a camera cut to make them work. And if there are harmonies in the song, basically though, or if you just want to make them sing that note like you would want though, there are sing along note rows you could put here. And there are also close-up note rows you can use, basically though, which would like zoom into it would be a zoomed in angle, basically though, to a character that you're playing. And spotlight is basically just doing a spotlight on the character, and then when it ends, it'll just go out.